Get ready for some serious vibes, because we are kicking things off with Yacht Rock Revue hitting the Mountain Winery on June 2nd. This Atlanta-based outfit has been conjuring up those smooth, radio-friendly tunes from the 70s and 80s, featuring classics from Steely Dan and Hall & Oates. They aren't just a tribute band. They are releasing new music with their album Hot Dads in Tight Jeans, so you need to hear what this group is cooking up. This is the sound you need to add to your playlist right now. We explore how this journey, marked by unprecedented scale and internal tension, led to a tragic cancellation and a profound shift in the band's internal chemistry, leaving a legacy of haunted brilliance. And finally, we look at a controversial moment in music history from 1998. We examine the Godzilla soundtrack and the surprising inclusion of Rage Against the Machine's No Shelter track. Was this a sellout, or a strategic move to dismantle consumerism? We break down the academic analysis suggesting this was a Trojan horse for radical messaging. Stick with us because we have all the stories you need to know. Bay Area yacht rock enthusiasts have a must-see event on the horizon. Yacht Rock Revue is set to perform at the Mountain Winery in Saratoga on June 2nd, offering a nostalgic journey through the smooth, radio-friendly sounds of 1970s and 1980s yacht rock. The Atlanta-based group, which has been dedicated to the genre since 2007, specializes in recreating the soft rock vibes that dominated commercial airwaves during that era. The setlist promises familiar hits from genre pioneers, including music originally popularized by artists such as Steely Dan, Starland Vocal Band, Michael McDonald, Looking Glass, Hall & Oates, Boz Scaggs, and America. Beyond their tribute performances, Yacht Rock Revue also showcases their original music, available to fans in advance through their album, Hot Dads in Tight Jeans. Fans are invited to experience the atmosphere, imagining themselves cruising the Florida Keys in a stylish 50-footer while enjoying the music. The show is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. at the Mountain Winery. Tickets are available starting at $39.50 and can be purchased at mountainwinery.com. Clemson football community is rallying around defensive lineman Hevin Brown-Shuler following his diagnosis with Hodgkin lymphoma. The redshirt sophomore defensive tackle will be stepping away from the field to focus on treatment, missing the 2026 season, but his determination remains undiminished. Brown-Shuler, a relentless force on the defensive line, recently impressed with his performance in the spring game, including a key play against Chris Johnson Jr. Now, he is confronting a significant health challenge. In a recent statement, Brown-Shuler shared his experience, expressing gratitude for the exceptional care and support received from the Clemson and Pace communities, as well as his family and teammates. He emphasized his optimism and determination as he begins his treatment, thanking supporters for their prayers and encouragement. Coach Dabo Swinney immediately affirmed the program's full support. Swinney stated that the Clemson family and the college football world are with Hevin as he begins treatment this month, assuring that the program will support him and his family during this time. Brown-Shuler concluded his message by expressing excitement for the future, stating, "I can't wait to run down that hill and touch Howard's Rock again for the 2027 football season." The 1977 North American tour of Led Zeppelin stands as a defining, yet ultimately tragic, moment in classic rock history, illustrating the high-stakes drama of superstardom. By this point, Led Zeppelin had established themselves as an empire, having obliterated box office records and achieved near-absolute dominance, though internal pressures and external shifts were beginning to strain their foundation. The tour itself was framed as a surreal, high-stakes theatrical event, a journey fueled by unprecedented excess. While the music remained transcendent, the atmosphere was increasingly shadowed by a sense of impending doom, marking a turning point where the band reached their zenith just as the ground began to shift. Led Zeppelin's reputation was built on a darker, mythological brand of debauchery, contrasting with the decadence of groups like the Rolling Stones and the high-concept energy of The Who. Their offstage dynamics were extreme. John Bonham and Jimmy Page were the engines of the notorious excess, with Bonham known for his legendary binging and Page cultivating a sinister, occult-tinged atmosphere. Conversely, bassist John Paul Jones maintained a more professional distance, while Robert Plant navigated the rock star lifestyle with a degree of self-preservation. The 1977 tour kicked off with massive anticipation, debuting an ambitious stage setup featuring lasers and sophisticated lighting. The band achieved a new world record for single-act attendance, playing to 76,229 people at the Silverdome, cementing their untouchable status. However, behind the scenes, the strain was palpable. Jimmy Page's physical health deteriorated significantly, reportedly fueled by heavy substances, leading to unpredictable performances. The tour reached a violent precipice following a brutal altercation involving band personnel and promoters, resulting in arrests and legal fallout that stained the band's reputation. The tour's climax was marred by tragedy. While performing in New Orleans, Robert Plant received devastating news. His 5-year-old son had died of a sudden illness. This event instantly shattered the tour, forcing an immediate cancellation and the band's dispersal. The aftermath of the 1977 tour was one of haunted brilliance. The tragedy severed Robert Plant's emotional connection to his rock god persona, leading him to contemplate leaving the industry. Jimmy Page and John Bonham retreated further into their respective addictions, while John Paul Jones sought a more domestic existence. The tour served as the ultimate cautionary tale. The moment Led Zeppelin's Hammer of the Gods sound cracked under the weight of its own excess and the cruel intervention of fate, transforming them from a unified force into a collection of grieving, struggling individuals. This experience fundamentally altered the band's chemistry, setting the stage for a softer, more tentative era in their subsequent work. On this day in 1998, the soundtrack for the blockbuster film Godzilla, released on May 19th, sparked significant debate regarding the intersection of mainstream entertainment and anti-capitalist ideology. While the soundtrack featured major artists like Jimmy Page alongside Diddy and tracks from acts such as Jamiroquai and Foo Fighters, the inclusion of Rage Against the Machine's song, No Shelter, drew sharp criticism from those aligned with the band's vehement rejection of consumerism and mass media. Critics familiar with Rage Against the Machine's ethos viewed their presence on a mainstream soundtrack as a betrayal, suggesting the band was selling out by aligning with the very system they opposed. However, proponents of the track pointed to the complex irony embedded within No Shelter. The song directly targeted mass media, consumerism, and Hollywood pop culture through lyrics that questioned the mechanics of buying and history, emphasizing themes like the thin line between entertainment and war. The strategic placement of the song was key to its impact. The lyrics explicitly name-dropped the film, questioning its role as mere filler to distract from the real killer, Godzilla. Academic analysis suggests that this placement functioned as a Trojan horse. Scholar Jeffrey A. Hall posited that by including the song on the soundtrack, the production acknowledged the circular relationship between the text and its commercial context. The song promoted the film, yet simultaneously served as an assault on that commercial context. In essence, the Godzilla soundtrack became an ironic commentary. While the commercial appeal was undeniable, the inclusion of Rage Against the Machine's critique amplified the band's message, forcing listeners to confront the complicity between entertainment and consumer culture.